So I'm going to make it quite short and quick because we are in short of time. So the contents that I'll be discussing upon today is basically going to focus upon the phenomena of climate change, facts and figures, climate change and global health, who are at change, and what can be the possible solutions to it. Because while we are talking about the bigger scenario of climate change, we forget about the basic things that we need to take under consideration about climate change. So I'm going to focus upon the basic things first, and what are the things that can be done in an individual level from all of us, by all of us, to do some first thing, or what is climate change for you? What is the first thing that comes into your mind whenever someone says climate change? I'm going to take some of the participants here. If someone wants to answer, you can unmute yourself and take the floor for a while. Anybody?
If anybody want to ask the question, may ask, but it should be question. So, okay,
if
let me ask the question. What is the climate change? What is the meaning of a climate change which is affecting the whole humankind?
Hello.
But you can write in the chat box, or you can
you hear
let's
me?
make it interactive. Okay, so it's one.
Hello?
All right. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes.
Hi, can you hear me?
For me, climate change. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
We will take one male
Climate
participant
change
and one female participant.
has to do with long-term, change. Yeah, so we're talking about long-term changes over the weather conditions for a period not less than 3 years. And for us in Africa, particularly in Ghana, climate change is characterized by a lot of variabilities in rainfall patterns and drought patterns, which poses threat to our food security. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll go for one female participant. There was, I think, a lady who was trying to say something. Nobody?
So can I say it?
Yes, Maria, please.
Oh, thank you very much. So some people say that climate change is something normal, and it scares me a lot because we don't take care about our nature the way we should have. So for me, climate change is a term that scares me a lot. It's changing the entire world, the forests, the ocean, the animals. We are losing a lot of things that our lives depend about nature. So we are facing this fact about climate change is a fact that we need to change right now. We are suffering a lot because our nature is suffering a lot, and we will suffer even more if you don't take the necessary cares. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maria. We have something in the chat section. Climate change is swing and picking up momentum towards the Sustainable Development Goals. It is the biggest problem we are facing. It represents one of the greatest environmental, social, and economic threats. The planet facing climate change is real. We need to work collectively together. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. But when I research and when I get into the zone of climate change, what comes into my head is this picture. the polar bear getting stranded in the middle of the ocean, where their habitat or the ice caps are getting melted and they have nowhere to go, and they are getting stranded in the middle of the ocean. Another thing that comes into my mind is global warming, where the increase in the temperature of the Earth is melting the Earth and the ice caps of the Arctic and the Antarctic region. So these are the basic two things that comes into my mind whenever someone talks about climate change or global warming. So being from the sector of health, I would like to relate climate change with health first, but in layman term, what we need to understand is climate change includes global warming driven by the human emission of greenhouse gases that result in the large scale shift in the weather patterns. So this is the basic idea of climate change. Now, just a moment. So this is how the climate change or the global warming occurs. When the sun rays, I hope you can see the bluish area around the Earth. When the sun rays gets trapped in the Earth due to the various greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, methane, and chlorofluorocarbon, there is an increase in the temperature of the Earth, which leads to us the global warming and ultimately the various climate changes. So I'd not like to explain, I was planning to explain all of this, but we have very short time. So I hope I can give you the gist of what I'm trying to say, but I'm not going to explain all of this. So I'm going to quickly move towards the facts and the figures. So transportation has contributed 28% to the greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are basically the gases that is present in the atmosphere that traps the reflected solar energy and also helps in the increasing the temperature of the Earth. So these are the key factors that aid in increasing the global temperature. Transportation gives about 28% of the greenhouse gases. Electricity generation aids in about 28%. 22% is from the industrial areas, 9% is from the agricultural areas, 6% is from the commercial area, and 5% is from the residential areas. So if the climate change is not taken into consideration, and if the climate change is not checked upon time, and if youths like us are not taking initiative to do something in regards to climate change, by the end of this century, that is in 2100 AD, the temperature will be rising by 2.6 to 4.8 degrees Celsius. And it is a very high time that the youths like us should come forward and talk about it and be vocal about climate change and the problems that climate change can possibly cause to us. So being from the sector of health, I would like to associate climate change with health. How is climate change and health related? So if there are two aspects to it, that is positive aspect and negative aspect. So I have differentiated it in two ways. Global warming may bring some localized benefits, such as fewer winter death in temperate climates and increased food production in certain areas. But there are so many negative aspects to it, like climate change affects many of our social and environmental determinants of health, like clean air, safe drinking water, sufficient food, and secure shelter. So it is basically affecting the basic needs of the mankind. So and I'm moving towards the impact of the climate change and health. The first circle shows the direct effect of climate change on the Earth, that is rising temperature, more extreme weather, rising sea levels, and increase in the level of carbon dioxide. So the second circle shows the indirect effect of climate change on the Earth, that is air pollution, changes in the vector ecology. Vector basically in medical term means the germs or the bacteria that is responsible for causing various diseases. So change in the climate or the increase in the global temperature will increase the threats of the life-threatening diseases like malaria, dengue, encephalitis, Rift Valley fever, Lyme disease, chikungunya, West Nile virus, and so on. Similarly, there will be also the increase in the allergens level causing the respiratory allergies and asthma. Water level, increase in the sea level will cause water quality impacts that will lead towards the spread of the various waterborne diseases like cholera, cryptosporidiosis, Campylobacter-related diseases, leptospirosis, harmful algal blooms, and many other waterborne diseases. Similarly, there will also be the impact on the water and food supply, which may lead towards malnutrition and diarrheal diseases. Also, there will be forced migration, civil conflicts, and mental health impacts, because whenever there is a forced migration and whenever we have to move from one place to another, there is a kind of unstable feeling. We cannot adapt towards the changed environment. So there is a kind of internal struggle within us that we'll have to adapt to a changed environment. So this can also lead towards mental health impacts. Similarly, there will also be some heat-related illnesses and deaths, cardiovascular failure, injuries, fatalities, and mental health impacts again. So these are the various impacts of climate change on human health. So human beings are quite selfish by nature. So if we show these impacts and if we tell them that these are the possible impacts on human health, if we not check the climate change on time, then they will definitely be concerned about it. They will definitely be concerned about the Mother Earth and start working upon controlling the major cause of climate change. So next, who is at risk? As everybody of us might know, all of us here, everywhere, be it be polar bears or be it be any of the plants or anything, every one of us are here at risk. And what can be the possible solution to it? So the use of the renewable sources of energy is the possible solution to it, as it helps in controlling the level of the greenhouse gases, like use of the biofuels, wind energies, solar energies, hydroelectric energies. These are the renewable sources of energy, and these do not produce the greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, chlorofluorocarbon, and this will certainly help us in controlling the level of carbon dioxide in our earth. So these are the possible solutions that I see. Use of the technology, we can use electricity in transportation system as well if we want to control the level of carbon dioxide in our earth. Similarly, I have so many things to say on this, but I think I am already running out of time. So thank you so much for listening to me. If I have some time,